Hello Tamers, and welcome to the second round of the Dragon Soul tournament. This time it's gonna be ShineGreymon versus UlforceVeedramon. Now let's roll the dice. Watch my videos and feel like getting some Digimon cards for yourself? I've got just the place for you. Zenin TCG. They're an online store that sells sealed products, single cards, and custom decks for the new Digimon card game. And they ship internationally, so it doesn't matter if you live in the US, Europe, or other countries. I've ordered cards from them before, and their service is both great and trustworthy. So check them out on Facebook and Instagram and get some Digimon cards for yourself today. ShineGreymon's going first, and with that, let's open the digital gate. Active, draw, raising. A Digitama will be hatched. It's Nyaromon. Main, Nyaromon evolves into the Agumon from Savers at 0 cost, 1 draw, and now at 3 cost, Kudamon will be placed. Turnover, active, draw. In the raising phase, a Digitama is hatched, and it is Upamon. At 0 cost, Upamon evolves into Alakmon. 1 draw. And then the Tamer card, Shinomiya Rina, is placed. When she is played, the top 3 cards of the deck are revealed. 1, 2, 3. From among them, one Digimon whose name contains V can be added to the hand, but because there are none among the targets, they are all returned to the bottom of the deck. 3 cost. And next, the Tamer card Ishida Yamato will be placed for 4 cost. Turnover, active, draw. In the raising phase, Agumon is moved out into the battle area. Now Magna Angemon is placed at 7 cost. When Magna Angemon is placed, recovery +1, so ShineGreymon recovers 1 security. It's a little hard to see, so I'm just gonna put the 6th security up over here. Turnover, active, draw. In the raising phase, Alakmon is moved out into the field and evolved into Veedramon at 2 cost. 1, 2, 1 draw. Now, during your turn, if you have a blue Tamer, Veedramon gains jamming, which means it will not be destroyed in battle with the opponent's security Digimon. With that said, Veedramon attacks ShineGreymon security. Security check 1. And it is GeoGreymon with 4000 DP. It is destroyed. And now Veedramon digivolves into Arrow Veedramon for 3 cost. 1, 2, 3, 1 draw. When Arrow Veedramon is digivolved, if you have a blue Tamer, one of your blue Digimon becomes active. Now since Ulforce has both Ishida Yamato and Rina, Arrow Veedramon now untaps itself. Turnover, active, draw. In the raising phase, hatching a Digitama, it is Nyaromon. Main, Nyaromon evolves into Savers Agumon at 0 cost, 1 draw. Now the Tamer card TK is placed for 4 cost. 1, 2, 3, 4. When TK is placed, ShineGreymon is allowed to check all of his security cards and add one of them to his hand. So now let's reveal ShineGreymon's security. There's 2 Hickories, 1 Kudamon, 1 Caesarmon, and 1 Unimon. ShineGreymon chooses to add Caesarmon to his hand. Since the added card is a yellow card, ShineGreymon can now recovery +1 and then shuffle his security. So recovery +1, and now these cards will be shuffled and placed back into security. With that, turnover, and at the start of Ulforce's turn, of course Ishida Yamato increases the memory to 3, active, draw. In the raising phase, another egg is hatched. Upamon. And now, Arrow Veedramon will evolve into its ultimate form, UlforceVeedramon. 3 cost, 1 draw. Now UlforceVeedramon attacks ShineGreymon's security. Because of Upamon, once per turn when attacking, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution sources, you get to draw 1 card, so Ulforce draws. Next, Rina activates her effect. If one of your blue Digimon attacks by resting this card, the Digimon gets +1 KDP until the end of the turn. So now Rina will be rested to increase UlforceVeedramon's DP to 12,000. Now this triggers UlforceVeedramon's own effect. During your turn, if your blue Tamer becomes rested, this Digimon becomes active, so UlforceVeedramon untaps. Next, once per turn, during your turn, if this Digimon becomes active during your main phase, +1 memory, so Ulforce gains 1 memory, and then Arrow Veedramon's inheritable effect. During your turn, if this Digimon becomes active during your main phase, it gets jamming until the end of the turn. So not only does UlforceVeedramon currently have 12k DP, it also has jamming. So it's impossible for it to be destroyed in battle with a security Digimon. Security check 1. Unimon, 6000 DP, it is destroyed. Now UlforceVeedramon goes for its second attack. Security check 1. Hickory, security played his card without paying its cost, so now ShineGreymon gets another Tamer on their field. The Upamon in the raising area evolves into Vmon for 0 cost, 1 draw, and finally, Gabumon is placed from the hand at 3 cost. 1, 2, 3. When Gabumon is placed, Ulforce can draw 1 card. And also, Ishida Yamato's effect. When you play a blue Digimon during your turn, by resting this card, you can discard a Digivolution source from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. So since Gabumon was just placed, Ishida Yamato will be rested to discard Evolution source from Saber's Agumon. Nyaromon is discarded. And once again, because a blue Tamer was rested, UlforceVeedramon becomes active, making it untargetable for attacks during ShineGreymon's next turn. With that, the memory is crossed over to the other side. Turnover, at the start of ShineGreymon's turn, TK moves the memory up to 3, and with Hickory's effect, at the start of your turn, if your security is 3 or less, get +1 memory. So the memory moves up to 4. Active, draw. During the raising phase, Saber's Agumon is moved out into the battle area, and in the main, the lower Saber's Agumon is evolved into Shizermon for 2 cost, 1, 2, 1 draw, while the upper one is evolved into ShineGreymon, also for 2 cost, 1 draw. Now since Caesarmon has jamming, it attacks UlforceVeedramon security check 1, and oh no, it is Ishida Yamato, another blue Tamer. Security, it is played without paying the cost. Now ShineGreymon chooses to play the option card, Glorious Burst. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12k DP until the end of your turn, so UlforceVeedramon is of course the target, it only has 11k. With the reduction, it is reduced to 0 DP and it is destroyed and sent to the trash. Now while Glorious Burst is usually a 9 cost card, its cost in your hand is reduced by 1 for each of your yellow Tamers. With 2 yellow Tamers on ShineGreymon's field, its cost becomes effectively 7, so the memory moves to 7, and turnover. Active, and draw. In the raising phase, Vmon is moved out into the battle area. Now Veedramon evolves into Veedramon 0 for 2 cost, 1, 2, 1 draw. Veedramon 0 attacks Shizermon. Because of Upamon's inheritable effect, once again, Ulforce can draw 1 card. Veedramon 0 has 5k DP, Caesarmon has 4000, so Caesarmon is destroyed. Next, the Tamer card, V-Tamer Taichi, will be placed for 2 cost. And Taichi's effect. If you have a Digimon that contains Veedramon in its name, you can rest this card to draw 1 card. 1 draw. Now Gabumon will also evolve into Veedramon 0 for 2 cost, 1, 2, 1 draw. And then into Zudomon for 3 cost, 1, 2, 3, 1 draw. Turnover, at the start of ShineGreymon's turn, once again TK raises the memory to 3, while Hickory boosts the memory by 1 as well. Active, draw. In the raising phase, a Digi-Egg is hatched. Nyaromon, GeoGreymon digivolves into RiseGreymon for 3 cost, 1, 2, 3, 1 draw. And when RiseGreymon is digivolved, you may play 1 yellow Tamer from your hand without paying its cost. However, it does not activate its when played effects, which is just perfect for Hickory, because she has no when placed effects. Now the Nyaromon in the raising area digivolves into Kudamon at 0 cost, 1 draw. Next, Magna Angemon attacks Veedramon 0. It has 6000 DP to Veedramon 0's 5000, so Veedramon 0 is destroyed. And now, RiseGreymon will digivolve into its final form, ShineGreymon, for 4 cost, 1 draw. When ShineGreymon is digivolved, you can rest all of your yellow Tamers, and for every Tamer rested by this effect, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4k until the end of the turn. 3 yellow Tamers have been rested for a total of minus 12k. Zudomon with only 6k is definitely being destroyed. Turnover, active, draw. In the raising phase, a Digitama is hatched. It is Upamon again. In the main, Upamon evolves into Vmon for 0 cost, 1 draw. Now Vmon evolves into Veedramon 0 at 2 cost, 1, 2, 1 draw. And with that, UlforceVeedramon plays the option card, Ice Wolf Claw or Cocytus Breath. Return one of your opponent's Digimon back into their hand, discarding all of its Digivolution sources. So ShineGreymon is returned to the hand, while its entire evolution chain is discarded. And that is a total of 7 costs. Since the memory is at 1, it moves to 6 and turn over. At the start of ShineGreymon's turn, because of the double hickories, since its memory is 3 or less, memory plus 2 until 8, active, and draw. The Kudamon in the raising area is moved out into the battlefield. It evolves into GeoGreymon for 2 cost, 1, 2, 1 draw, and then the Tamer card TK, the 2 cost version from the starter deck, is placed for 2 cost. Next, Magna Angemon attacks UlforceVeedramon security check, and it is UlforceVeedramon. With 11,000 DP, Magna Angemon is destroyed as well. Patamon is placed for 3 cost, 1, 2, 3, and when Patamon is placed, the top 4 cards of the deck are revealed, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all Tamers from among them are added to the hand, but there are no Tamers, so they are all returned to the bottom of the deck. Finally, another Kudamon is placed for 3 cost, 1, 2, 3, and turn over. At the start of UlforceVeedramon's turn, Ishida Yamato moves the memory up to 3, active, and draw. In the raising phase, Ulforce chooses to keep Veedramon 0 in the raising area, main, and evolves it into Zudomon at 3 cost. 1, 2, 3, 1 draw. Once again at 7 cost, UlforceVeedramon plays the option card, Cocytus Breath, in order to return GeoGreymon back to the hand, discarding all of its evolution materials. 7 cost, turn over. At the start of ShineGreymon's turn, once again, the double hickories, memory increases to 9, active, draw. In the raising phase, a Digitama is hatched. Nyaromon. Patamon is evolved into GeoGreymon at 2 cost, 1, 2, 1 draw. The Tamer card TK is placed for 4 cost, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, ShineGreymon is allowed to look at the cards currently in his security. He chooses to add Kudamon to his hand, and since it was a yellow card, security plus 1, and these cards will now be shuffled back into security. Now Nyaromon evolves into Kudamon at 0 cost, 1 draw, and another Tamer card, Hickory, is placed for 3 cost. 1 Kudamon attacks UlforceVeedramon security check 1. It is Gabumon with 1000 DP only, but unfortunately, Kudamon only has 1000 DP as well, so it is destroyed. And here the other Kudamon will digivolve into the blocker Unimon for 2 cost, 1 draw. Turn over. At the start of UlforceVeedramon's turn, Yamato moves the memory up to 3, active, and draw. In the raising phase, Zudomon is moved out into the battle area. For 3 cost, Zudomon digivolves into UlforceVeedramon. 1, 2, 3, 1 draw. Now UlforceVeedramon attacks ShineGreymon security. Veedramon 0 has an inheritable effect. When attacking, you can return 3 non-Digi-8 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck to draw 1 card, but UlforceVeedramon chooses not to activate it. Meanwhile, both Upamon and Zudomon's inheritable effects cannot trigger because all of ShineGreymon's Digimon currently have Digivolution sources. Now, since a blue Digimon attacked, Rina can be rested to give that Digimon plus 1k DP until the end of the turn, so now UlforceVeedramon has 12k DP. And since a blue Tamer became rested, it also becomes active. And once per turn, when it becomes active during the main phase, memory plus 1. Security check 1. And it is TK with 4 cost. Security effect, it is played without paying its cost, and now its when played effect activates, allowing ShineGreymon to check his security once again in order to see what cards are inside. This time he chooses to add Serafimon to his hand, and since it was yellow, recovery plus 1, and these cards will now be shuffled back into security. Because of Veemon's inheritable skill, once per turn, if this Digimon becomes active during the main phase, draw 1 card, and now UlforceVeedramon conducts its second attack. Security check 1, and it is the Tamer card, Hickory, which is also placed without paying the cost. Now V-Tamer Taichi activates his effect. Since there is an UlforceVeedramon on the field, he can be rested to draw 1 card. And since the blue Tamer is rested, UlforceVeedramon becomes active once more and attacks 1 more time. Security check 1. TK again. Another tamer that is placed for free. I'm just gonna put him over here because we're out of space. Never mind, maybe something like this. And now Gabumon is placed onto the field for 3 cost. 1, 2, 3. When Gabumon is placed, 1 draw. And since a blue Digimon was placed with Ishida Yamato's effect, he can be rested to discard a Digivolution source from the bottom of ShineGreymon. So Patamon is discarded. And since a blue tamer just got rested, once again, UlforceVeedramon stands, but turnover at the start of ShineGreymon's turn. The various TKs move the memory up to 3, and since there are 4 Hikaris, that is plus 4 memory to 7 memory. Active, draw. During the raising phase, Kudamon is moved out into the battle area. Now ShineGreymon digivolves into MagnaAngelmon for 3 cost, 1, 2, 3, 1 draw, and finally, taking center stage once again, MagnaAngelmon digivolves into ShineGreymon for 4 cost. 1 draw. With ShineGreymon's effect, all yellow tamers are rested, and for each tamer, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP. So I have just taken the liberty of resting all 9 tamers on ShineGreymon's field, which means he can now apply a minus 4k DP debuff 9 times. And that's a total of 36,000 DP. So using 1 shot, Gabumon is of course eliminated, and using 4 shots, UlforceVeedramon is wiped off the surface of the planet, and the remaining 5 shots, I don't know where they go. ShineGreymon attacks UlforceVeedramon security. Now ShineGreymon has one other effect. During your turn, this Digimon gets plus 1k DP for every tamer you have, so it's a 20k DP attacker. It's not gonna lose to anything that appears. SaberLeomon 10k, get out of here. Now Kudamon attacks UlforceVeedramon security with only 1k DP. Security check 1. It is Rina Shinomiya, a tamer card that will be played without paying its cost because of its security effects. And finally, even though 2 memory has to be paid, Unimon attacks. UlforceVeedramon has no blockers and no more security. It's a direct attack, and the match is over. The winner, ShineGreymon. Watch my videos and feel like getting some Digimon cards for yourself? I've got just the place for you. Zenin TCG. They're an online store that sells sealed products, single cards, and custom decks for the new Digimon Card Game. And they ship internationally, so it doesn't matter if you live in the US, Europe, or other countries. I've ordered cards from them before, and their service is both great and trustworthy. So check them out on Facebook and Instagram and get some Digimon cards for yourself today.